The rest of you move
All
on
right,
down the
cool.
tunnel.
So I am glad that I have I have a backup now.
So, the rest of you make your way down the tunnel, and as you do, you hear chatter once again at the very end, um, and then you hear the Fletchers just like, so how many of those thugs do you think are up ahead?
Vanessa just like
No.
has a thinking look before she's like, "You guys go up on ahead. I'm gonna wait for him. If he doesn't come back in 5 minutes, I'm going in after him."
Someone please hold her down.
Shush! You're the wind.
That's why I'm talking quietly.
I'm sure he's fine. He's slightly resistant to fire.
No, I am very much resistant to fire, so I'm gonna be fine.
Uggs
Yes.
like shaking, kind of looking at Vanessa's shoulder, and just
I think you should worry about
Listen, I'm gonna be fine because because that dragon is trapped like everyone else here. If we leave it here, it's going to die.
Ugg then uses both of his hands to point at Orilo. Just like, seriously, this man is the one you want to leave us with?
Listen, I won't be gone for long. I don't. It doesn't.
Ugg just kind of like taps his wrist.
Okay. I just don't feel right leaving that dragon in a cage. If we can reason with it, help us get out of here along with it.
I'm not here, but I just want to say great minds think alike because that was my exact plan.
It just doesn't. I'm sorry, it just doesn't feel right leaving the dragon in a cage. Vanessa like kind of like takes a few steps back before turning around and starts heading back.
just don't die, me.
Vanessa putting up her like left hand, like wasn't planning on it.
Okay, let's I guess let's make sure the pass is clear.
Vanessa starts heading back down the cave toward the room with the huge dragon where they just left Morgoth. As you walk down, you still hearing the flames kind of blasting every once in a while, like in the room, and you see a huge flash of like orangish light as every time the flames go off. You finally make it up into the room, and you see Morgoth still trying to defend himself with the runes and everything, trying to set up any type of barriers he can, and basically trying to keep himself alive in front of the dragon.
Vanessa just she kind of like walks a little closer to the dragon and like starts to like slowly put her hand on the side of the dragon to like try to calm him down.
As you do that, the dragon like goes to like turn his head in your direction and kind of like bumps it on one of the huge metal bars. And as he does that, you then see his tail kind of like about half the tail kind of like sticks out of the bars and tries to swing in your direction, just smacking up against a wall next to you.
Vanessa like puts her hands up, like, "Hey, hey, we're, we're not here to hurt you." She gives a quick glance over to Morga, like, and kind of mouths, "Sorry."
Yeah, I kind of like look up over the cover and say, Vanessa, what are you doing? Get out of here!
Vanessa looks back to the dragon. We're not here to hurt you. We're not like the other men. Her hands like are still up, a little bit trembling, but still like up where the dragon can see them.
I take this opportunity to like slowly start moving up the staircase. Like I put my sword's already away, so that doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm just gonna start moving slowly towards the staircase.
As you do that, the dragon turns back to you, blasting more fire in your direction. But instead of aiming it right at you, it aims at the ground at your feet.
Like, all right. I'm also not here to hurt you. Okay, I'm just defending myself from your fire. I'm not going to attack you. Seems like you've been through enough.
With the dragon more focused on Morgoth, Vanessa's gonna look around to see if she can find like some sort of block. At least from your side.
Yeah, so you see like this, massive lock essentially kind of on the front of the cage. On the side of the lock, you'll see that there's a kind of like it's a huge like black metal lock essentially keeping the huge like door closed, and you see that there's a little red strip like along the outer sides of the lock that kind of along the sides of the lock that kind of like has a weird like faint glow to it almost. And as you like look at it a little more, you almost see like a little spark happening every time the dragon kind of blast fire out. And like as he's blasting fire out, like at Morgoth every once in a while, you notice in between bursts is you'll see the lock kind of like sparking every time that like he ends up stopping.
So it's like a lock that's hanging off of it, right? Or is it like?
Yeah, it's basically it's a lock that's hanging kind of like off the actual off the door itself.
Vanessa's gonna slowly grab it with her right hand and like try to examine it a little bit more.
So as you grab it, you then feel like a heavy shock come from it, basically like forcing your hand backwards. As like the thing basically it gives you like enough of a shock to make your arm like in an instant feel a little bit of pain. It's kind of like hitting your funny bone on something. Like you feel like a wave, like it feels numb for a moment, and then there's just a wave of pain that kind of like shivers up your arm to about your shoulder.
She takes a step back, like holding her right arm, and it's just like, ow. Morgoth, I think you should come see this lock when you have the chance, of course.
The dragon once again is blasting fire right at Morgoth's feet.
Yes, it seems I'm a little busy right now. I said, why are you blasting fire at my feet? I have no intentions of hurting you. In fact, we killed people who were trying to imprison you, great dragon.
You see the dragon like fire spit out a little bit more fire, and then you see like almost like a like on the like right side of his face essentially you see almost like a little smirk happening.
Vanessa, like, getting a stupid idea, but a good idea at the time, she starts moving her way towards Morgoth in front of the dragon.
I mean, do I see this? I mean, it's
I mean, yeah, it's just
am
right
I
in
too
front of
distracted
you.
by it?
Yeah, no, so you end up walking up kind of in front of Morgoth, and then you see the dragon's about to about to shoot out more fire, and you see him like move his head out of the way, and it blasts up toward the ceiling, pretty much knocking a huge boulder straight down and crashing into the ground, like shaking the ground around you a little bit.
Uh, she kind of like looks at the dragon. And it's like, listen, we're freeing the people down here, and if I don't know, her hands are still kind of like up, still shaking a little. I don't know if you know this, but the front doors caved in, so you're probably not going to be able to get out if you kill us for a while. We're just trying to help you.
You see the dragon kind of like he kind of like takes his like he takes like his paw. Would you
Claw.
just the claws? The claw is just it's just the claw's the actual like fingernail essentially, right? Or is the whole thing considered the claw?
I figured the entire thing was considered the claw, but I guess you can do whatever.
Whatever. Okay, he takes his right right claws essentially, and he brings it up to the lock, and you see him kind of like start scratching at the side of the lock, and like as he does that, you then notice that like there's this huge shock that kind of like hits like around it pops up, and it kind of like shocks his claw essentially, as he's like scratching at it, and then there's like a huge pulse of electricity that like consumes the cage and just gives him like this like really this really loud and very intense shock that just sends the dragon into like more of a roar, and then it like falls over basically crashing about half of it into some of the bars.
Yeah, that Vanessa like kind of like glancing back to Morgoth. Yeah, that's why I wanted you to look at the lock.
Yes, but I was also dealing with dragon's fire, so maybe it realizes that we're going to help it now. So, yes, allow me to take a look.
Vanessa's like quickly like kind of gesturing him to go take a look at the lock.
I'm going to take a look at the lock.
Okay, so you get up there, you look at the lock, and as you're kind of inspecting it, you see, it seems like a normal like metal. It seems like a normal metal lock. It's about a foot and a half tall, and a foot wide. It's got a huge, the huge red strip of tape, kind of like tape, but essentially around the sides of it. And you notice that like as you start to get closer, like almost touching it, you see little sparks kind of like popping off the lock.
Interesting. The lock seems to be extremely electrified.
Vanessa was like still standing in front of the dragon just so that the dragon like can see her, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's like how you would stand in front of a horse to keep it calm. Vanessa's just like, when it was spewing fire, the sparks seemed to dissipate a bit.
Perhaps he has to burn the lock? Or maybe I could do it? I mean, he was scratching at it with his paws. Maybe it only reacts to physical touch versus flames.
Hearing this, you then see the dragon, like without warning, turn toward the lock and start blasting it with fire, like almost hitting you with it. You're able to like dodge out of it, dodge out of the way just in time. Basically, just fire consuming over the lock, just basically like engulfing the entire thing and shooting fire pretty much 10 feet under the little platform that you're on, and it just like for like a full like 5 seconds he's just blasting this fire, and then once he stops, you then see, like once he stops, you see like it kind of does a little bit of a shock, but like overall the lock is completely fine.
Ah, I see. Perhaps let's check the guards and see if they have a key. Or check
Uh,
the thugs.
You check that side, I'll check this side. Since they're
Alright.
on either side.
Yep. So
Okay.
both of you end up checking. Morgoth, you kind of ruffle through, and on him you find on the first guy, you end up finding like a little like iron dagger. You find about 5 silver pieces, and he's got a little necklace of some kind. It almost looks like a locket, but when you open it up, it's like there's nothing really inside. It's just got a little bit of like rust essentially. And when Vanessa goes through the other guy, you end up getting 2 silver, 4 copper, and as you're going through him and everything, you find like a parchment of some kind, and as you start to open it up, you kind of like see a little, not exactly a blinding flash of light, but a bright light kind of like it's kind of like a bright light kind of erupts from the parchment, and then like the whole thing kind of just disintegrates in your hands as that happens. You then hear like a loud shock come from the it's like a loud like popping noise essentially coming from the lock, and then you notice that like the dragon essentially is just getting electrocuted.
Vanessa, just like, she just fucking doesn't, not thinking straight. She basically just puts her hand, she casts dispel magic and puts her hand on the cage.
Like on the iron bars of the cage.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you go to put your hand on it. You're casting dispel magic, and as soon as you touch it and cast it, you see that the area around your hand, some of the electricity is not hitting, but it's still like basically erupting inside of the cage, and the dragon is just kind of like he's kind of like freaking out inside.
So even though I'm touching the cage, it's not electrocuting my hand.
It's not electrocuting your hand, no.
Vanessa, realizing, quickly moves to the side Morgan's on and grabs the lock.
Okay. And you're gonna cast the same spell again?
Yep.
Okay. So as you do that, you then notice the electricity kind of stops, and then you notice the little red strip of tape kind of like slowly fades away, kind of into nothing, and basically just leaving the metal lock there.
Well, hopefully that solved our
Electricity.
precariously shocking situation.
Vanessa kind of looking up, like, are you okay in there?
You see the dragon kind of like look down at you, not really tilting his head down, but like his eyes peer down towards you a little bit, and then you get like he basically is like a heavy breath out of his nostrils, just sending steam straight out into your face.
I'm gonna take that as it could be better. Okay.
I would also take it like that.
Let's figure out how to get this lock out.
I mean, we could simply just beat it into submission. Okay, just break it.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm kind from the whole fight with the highest, the beginning of the fight. I'm worn out. So if you want
Well,
to take a, if you want to beat the lock, go ahead.
hmm. Well, I'm surprisingly okay. A little damaged, but nothing too bad. So let me take a crack at it. So I pull out my greatsword and I take a swing, like aiming for the not the actual main part of the lock itself, but like the little like hoop part that goes around the cage. See if I can just like chop into that part of the lock.
Uh, okay. Roll strength check.
Strength check. Oh, I swear. A 9.
Yep. So you swing. As you see the sword hit it, you see a little spark kind of pop out of it as you hit the metal, and you then like as that happens, the lock pretty much seems fine, not even a scratch on it, and you see the dragon, almost like a little smirk pop. It kind of like ends up on his face as he's like looking. His head still kind of like tilted up, but his eyes are looking down. At your failure.
I might have fell on the swing, but you're the one trapped in the cage. I say like smartly as I get ready to take another swing.
I don't think it's best to anchor it more.
Nah, well, it's already tried to kill me. Well, it's gonna do try to kill me again. I mean, come on, Vanessa. So I'm gonna take another swing.
Yeah, you're not breaking through that.
I'm gonna swing again. No, well, do we have anything to potentially pick a lock?
Uh,
Let me look and see what all I have.
you can.
Let me see.
I have a crowbar. If that will help.
Do we think that might could like potentially fit in a lock?
Well, I mean, at least try to pry the lock off.
Well, yes. I mean, that's the obvious solution, but nothing's ever obvious in this world.
We can still at least try it. Try it.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah, hand it to me, and I'll do my best.
Vanessa hands the crowbar off to Morgoth.
I try to pry the lock off of the cage directly.
Okay. Give me a strength check.
Come on, more, gosh. 21.
So, you try really hard. You almost feel like you feel like a budging come in, and then you hear a click, and as you push it down, you push it down. You hear it click. Almost feels like a release or something, and then you look up, and you see that the crowbar has snapped in half.
Ah,
Well, there goes my crowbar.
yes. I'm sorry, I'll buy you a new one. But,
No, and this is the first time I'm using it. So, and the
well,
last. So
yes, I hate that it's the last time you're using it. Well, it seems like I got potentially close, so.
since it was sparking, do you think you could probably put a rune on it?
Potentially. Yeah, I mean, obviously, do you think I should cast the fire rune? Or the void
Maybe. Well, try. Let's try the void room first, and then fire.
rune? Fair enough. So I gotta try to cast the void rune on this thing.
So you cast the void rune, and I mean, once you put it on there, and it kind of just sits there, almost like if you were just casting a spell, but not doing anything by itself.
I see. Okay.
You kind of see the dragon like kind of like look over, and he's turning his head, kind of like staring like down at you, essentially, while you're doing this.
As in, like, oh, what the heck are you
More
doing?
of more of like a kind of a thinking face, but kind of curious at the same time.
Do I notice this?
Yes.
I look up at him and I'm like, do you have an idea?
You kind of see him like go from like a little bit of a slouched position to kind of like stretching his head up pretty much to the roof of the cage, and then you kind of like hear a little bit of like a rumble, as he's trying to like as he's trying to muster up like a word, and you then hear, you can use the void rune.
Yes. Yes, I can. It's the first rune I ever learned. Why do you ask?
Are you able to create a black hole?
Oh, who now?
A
That's an
black
ability?
hole.
No, not that I know of, but is there any way you might could teach me that one? It's definitely
I
slow, but,
cannot, unfortunately.
well, let me look in the good book and we'll see.
I knew one void magic user, and he had this ability to make something disappear and then reappear in a short amount of time. I've
Wait.
only seen it once, but there is a chance you may know it.
Wait a minute. Ah! Are you talking about time storage? Yeah, make an item disappear for 6 seconds and then reappears in the same location 6 seconds later. Huh. Well, then let's try this. And so, I'm like, I go, do you mean this? And I try to cast the void and the time runes. Try to make the thing disappear.
So you go to cast it, and you see that the both of the runes kind of glow for a moment, and then like you see almost like a little bit of a swirl of like kind of like it's a little like basically just a black void kind of open up, and you see a little swirl around it, almost like a portal, and it just kind of sits there for a moment, and it only comes up to about as big as your palm, and just kind of like dissipates.
It can only do as big as the palm of my hand.
The man I saw do it could make an entire person disappear. I guess he was stronger than you are.
Yes, potentially. would say I was only really adept. And right now I'm not the greatest, but
Have you tried adding another rune?
adding another rune? Can you cast 3 runes? I only know to cast 2.
Powerful mages can go up to 7 runes.
My god. Alright, let me look at the advanced book. Wow, you're making me read this session. Thank you. It's supposed to be like nice and easy, but now I have to do reading. Great. So yeah, I'm at the apprentice level. Great. Oh, great. Well, what other one do you think I should try? Like that one, and then something obviously to expand it.
If I had to make a suggestion, I'd say add another void rune.
Good idea. Let me try that. And so I cast 2 void runes and a time rune.
What specific order?
Let's try void, time, void.
Okay. So, you cast you cast the void in time, and you see it. You see both of them kind of like, appear like they're just kind of kind of sitting there in an inactive state, and then you go and put another void rune, and then you see all of it just like kind of like fade out of existence, just like as soon as you add it.
Seems that was not correct. Damn it! I can't think right now. Let me just keep trying.
Have you ever even researched how to use the runes?
I've done some minor research, but not anything too in-depth. Allow me to try this. So I'm going to cast Void and then 2 time runes.
Okay. So as you cast the void rune, you and cast 1 time rune behind it, you see it kind of glow a bit and go into an inactive state, and then you cast 1 more time rune, and then just as before, you see a little black hole kind of appear, and a little bit of like an endless void looking into it kind of appears a little bit, and it stretches, and then you kind of like see like a purplish swirl kind of appear around it, and it expands, and you kind of back up a little bit, seeing it kind of expanding in a very fast session, and in 6 seconds it appears, it consumes around the lock, and then just disappears in an instant. And you see the lock itself has completely disappeared. And then you hear, "Now step back, quick, we don't have time."
Uh-oh. And so I immediately start backing up.
Yep. So both of you get out of the way quickly, and then you see him with one of his claws just kind of kick back the door, sending it out and just off of its hinges essentially with the amount of force he puts behind it. And then he kind of sits there for a moment and goes, "Well, it seems like you're learning, so good job." And then you see the lock appear 12 seconds after it disappeared. Just pops out in the exact spot from before, and then it falls to the ground, just colliding with the floor, and you hear you hear something on the inside kind of break, and it kind of rattles a bit. And the dragon kind of kicks it to the side, and he goes, "Good job. You just learned how to use an apprentice level spell."
Oh. Thank you for the help, my friend.
I didn't help you. You figured it out on your own. And he kind of starts stepping forward. He kind of hops off the little platform, to the ground, and then you kind of see his massive size. It's about, he stretches up. You see him spread out his wingspans about. The wingspan itself is about 20 feet wide. He's, this massive red dragon's about 30 feet tall, and as he's kind of stretching and everything, he turns over and looks at both of you and goes, "Thank you."
You're welcome.
You're very welcome. Thank you for not killing me.
Well,
Yes, that is a joke. I'm just messing around. But either way,
you gave me no reason to. Even after I almost killed you, you still didn't attack me.
we can call it self-defense.
And you see the dragon start to look around the room, and he looks up towards the the spot where he hit the boulder down essentially, and you kind of notice that even though it looks really dark, you can see that he's looking at a little hole in the ceiling.
We should probably get moving
We
before
definitely need to get moving.
the whole thing collapses.
You see him kind of you see him look at the ceiling, just staring at the hole, and then he looks over at the door, and you notice that the door is it's a massive double door. It's about 10 feet tall, 10 feet wide. But he looks at it, and you start to notice that he is not able to fit in it. And you see him look back up the hole again. He goes, "Well, it seems I'm gonna have to break my way out of here." And you see him look at the way y'all entered into the room in the first place, and it's large and wide, but you remember that the cave at the entrance collapsed as you came in, and you see him start to turn. He takes a couple steps toward toward the entrance essentially, as he's trying to walk away. And then he turns and goes, "Well, looks like I'm gonna have to go back out the front way. So, thank you and good luck."
At the entrance.
Well, it's the only way they could get me in here.
It's like I was trying to say earlier, collapsed?
Yes, we collapsed the entrance to keep more guards.
What?
Yes. That was a more strategic move.
There is, however, there's a back exit.
Yes, there is a back exit, which is where we were planning on going through.
And where would this be? That small door behind you? The one I can't go through?
Mm. Yes, that is the start of the tunnel, but there could potentially be another way to enter. What about that big hole you created in the ceiling right there?
I did think of that. But the
I mean, yes,
unfortunate
that's how you
part...
look up there, but
The unfortunate part about this plan is if I break a big enough hole to get in that, this entire portion of the cave will collapse. And that means if there's not enough space up there, then I'm not getting out of here.
And
You're
then
right.
we will be getting out of here with you.
right. So, well, I guess we need to get looking for another exit.
We?
We?
What I think he's trying to say is himself and me. Because I don't think you can fit anywhere where we look.
I mean, I'm sure we can find somewhere for this dragon to fit.
You see the dragon just turn his head toward the door both of you can leave, and he goes, "You two can leave through there. One of you walked through there earlier."
Yeah.
Yes, that's true, but then you don't have an easy way of getting out. So, we came to free you, not just get you out of a cage.
And why?
Because
Because
nobody deserves to be trapped.
Yeah. Especially if there's people willing to help.
No.
Fine then. What is your plan?
Well, and then Morgoth just kind of like starts to look around to see if there's any other potential, like, either just exits or like weaknesses where we could maybe like break down a piece of the wall without the entire structure collapsing.
Describe to me exactly what you do.
Exactly what I do?
Yeah, like how are you looking for this?
I'm sort of like, I'm just
Role
I go
play it
back
out.
down.
Just
Yeah,
role play it out, and I'll jump
I
in.
am. I'm like, I start to walk down the stairs, and I'm like, I'm looking, bruising like the ceiling and any of like the walls for any like potential cracks or like weaknesses or any like maybe holes that look like they might lead somewhere. And I start to walk down on like the floor. I guess I reach the bottom of the staircase, and I just continue to look down the room, like look down and around the room.
Okay.
See if I can find any sort of weaknesses besides the big hole in the ceiling.
Yeah. Roll perception.
Perception.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Is there any way I can help too, or is Vanessa just on the
I got a 17.
Okay. So, as you're looking around, the wall that is pretty much attached to the hole in the ceiling, as you're walking close to it, you start to hear like some type of it almost seems like a water stream of some kind, like a small water stream just happening pretty much like right behind the wall.
I sort of like point this out immediately and like yell, well, not really yell, but like say to the dragon and Vanessa, there's a water stream behind this wall over here. It's a possibly hollow wall.
Do you think we can get through it? Maybe it might lead up back up to the swamps.
Or something like that. Well, dragon friend, do you think you may could help us with this?
Well, I mean, I can definitely break it down if you say it's weak. The problem that lies, though, is, like I said, if there's not enough room for me to go, then I'm pretty much done for. As there's not enough room for me to go anywhere else, and this entire portion of the cave is going to collapse.
Morgoth, does it sound like a lot of water? Like a lot of water? Or does it sound just like a tiny?
It just sounds like a small stream.
Vanessa gets closer to the wall to see if she can, like, press her ear against it to listen, and as well to see if...
Yeah. You get closer and you hear it, and it just sounds like a small stream, like maybe like enough water to like fill a bucket, but like you fill a bucket in like a minute or two, but it's not enough to like
Hold
it's
a
not
dragon.
like it's not a whole it's not like a whole river down there. It's a little stream.
Yeah, okay. That's what I feared.
So, what do you think?
Okay, so... You know how there's doors on either side, right? When you... She's like pointing up towards the stage. You know how there's doors on the other side, right? On each side?
Yes.
The whole... I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, we split up one going up the stairs. And we
Yes.
ended up back in the same spot on the other side.
Yes.
So, if you want to test the theory with me, both of us leave through one of the doors, go around, see if we can meet up with each other. And if that's the case, then we could break that wall that's in between and then follow the rest of the group.
Potentially. Yes. Yes, let's try it.
Vanessa just kind of looks up at the dragon. You heard all that, right? We're gonna test something.
Hearing and understanding is two different words. One of which I have no clue what you just said.
We'll be testing something. See how thin that wall is. Pointing towards like the wall that's separating the two doors.
So you want me to go and break another wall?
Well,
I'm confused. You're separating two doors? I'm confused.
yeah, like the back
I'm
wall.
also-
since it's technically separating both the doors since they're on the corner, right?
What? Back
Or did
wall's
I-
a double door. It's not 2 doors. It's a huge double door. It's like it's 1 door. It just has 2 doors on it. You know, like it's a double door. It swings
Okay.
1
'Cause-
entrance, 1 exit.
Oh. Okay.
It's like
I misheard it then,
okay.
because when I heard it the first time, I'm like, because you said it goes up and then it like diverted and then there was 2 doors. Okay, misheard it then.
Wait, did I say that last time?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Alex Waffles. I kind of need a second opinion on this. Did I say that there were 2 doors up there at the top, or was that not clear last time?
I'm gonna go off and say that you said that it was a double door.
Okay. I do not remember if I said that. I could have. But I said double door this time, so I completely...
Well, I know
Yeah.
you said double door this time. I'm not sure you described the door.
There is a bit. I mean, to be fair, okay, to explain it, it's the double door itself is a 10-foot double door,
Yeah.
but on the
Yeah.
other side, it's like it's a large cavern on the other side. It's a large tunnel.
I'm gonna be a bit, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you did say double door this part, and I don't know if you said anything. I think you just said it was a door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I just
I
said door.
remember the same thing. Go.
I don't think I might have not specified.
Yeah, that's why I'm
So-
like, it's probably I just misheard it then.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna go with double door. It's a 10-foot because the thing is, it's a 10-foot double door that leads into basically a roughly just under 30 feet, tunnel that just leads down for a while.
Yeah.
So
Okay, scratch all of what I said.
okay.
Vanessa kind of like opens the door to like show Morgoth what's on the other side, at least. It's just like, if this door wasn't here, you'd probably be able to fly right through this.
Maybe not fly, but
He could potentially fit through it for sure.
We would probably just have to, number one, bring the door down, both doors, and then number two, chip away at the wall till it's big enough. Unless you want to try breaking through, but that risks the thing.
Structural collapse of the entire cave, yes. I guess it's just a question of how risky do we want this to be.
you see the dragon kind of stand there for a moment, and then you see him just kind of like do like he kind of does like a heavy stomp with one of his feet. Kind of like rumbles it a little bit, and you see a couple like pebbles, kind of fall from the ceiling, and he goes, "Yes, it seems we will only have one chance at this. If we mess this up, that's the end of it. And since both of you are standing here with me, it'll be the end of both of you as well."
Well,
Just kind of like takes a sigh, like a deep breath first, and it's like, I'm okay with that.
yes, I'd rather die beside one of my best companions and a dragon than the other way, so.
Vanessa kind of like smiles, like tears a little bit, and like her eyes start to water a little bit, but it's barely noticeable.
You see the dragon kind of like make his way up the little cliff there, and get like right in front of the double door, and he goes, "So, do we break it?"
Yes, but I feel like if we do break it, we all need to go through very quickly. So.
Yeah.
You are correct on that part.
So.
When you break it, where do you want us to stand exactly? Do you want to stand on the other side through the doorway, or do you want to stand behind you?
That would probably risk a bunch of falling rocks. But.
Either way, it's risky where we're standing, because if he breaks it, rubble could hit us, or can we stand?
You see him kind of like, see him look down in disappointment a little bit, and just goes, "Hop on."
Oh.
You see him like
Okay.
kind of use his right wing kind of like drops, so both of you can use it as a ramp. And as the wing is pretty much spewed out across the ground as a ramp, you hear him just go, "One time, no more."
That's fine.
One time is all we need.
Wouldn't be our first time anyways, but okay. Vanessa quickly trying to get up and not look like a fool.
Yeah,
Roll
Morgoth,
dexterity
but-
saving throw. No, I'm just kidding. So
Roll a Constitution saving throw right now.
So both of you, make your way up onto his back, and he kind of readjusts and everything, and then like you sit on the back. It's like a unlike Orgbu's being a lot more of like a leathery kind of, like, it's a lot of scales on his back. It's more, but it feels more of like a leather. This one, each individual scale you can feel is like, you can feel each individual scale as you kind of sit there. Each one being about like 4 to 5 inches large in radius, and you kind of feel it as he starts to clench his back. You can feel the scales kind of move, not in a way where it's like sharp, but you can feel almost like the point of the scales kind of basically like touching both of you, essentially, as he like kind of moves his back a little bit and flexes in a certain way, and then you just kind of see him kind of like lower his head. He kind of lowers his head and gets into stance. Gets into like almost like a ramming stance, and he goes, "Well, are both of you ready?"
Vanessa's like, yes.
As
I'm
ready
ready.
as I'll ever be.
"Well, hold on to something." And you feel a little bit of a shift in movement as you see one of his claws. As you like notice one of his claws is kind of like skidding across the ground, almost like a bull or a rhino about to charge. And then like on the last time that he brings his foot back, you hear like almost like a scratching sound as his claws scratch against the rocks. Or against the stone ground, and then, like, as he brings it up again, he starts charging, and he charges about 10 feet forward, and then his head and his back and pretty much his shoulder just kind of bust into the wall, causing the door to easily top over. Rocks falling all around you. One large rock, about 10 feet wide, is about to crush both of you. And as that happens, you see his tail swing up, smack the rock out in front of him, and like as it hits the ground, it just crashes and breaks in a bunch of little pieces, and he starts charging down the tunnel with his wings kind of tucked to his side, almost like running like a chicken. And like as he's running, you see the wings as he like tucks around both of you in a way, protecting against some of the rocks, but not all of them as he's running through. And after running about 100 feet into the tunnel, you see him fire, basically spit out a fireball going down the tunnel 100 yards, kind of just blasting like a huge ball of light going all the way down. And then you make your way down for a while, and you finally make it to the end where you see this large open cavern. And you look around and you see like a campfire that's been put out. You see what looks like to be a roasting spit, like sitting on top of it, and you see a couple like crates and boxes and everything kind of sitting there, and you can almost notice that there's like a foot trail of like multiple people moving down.
As soon as Vanessa sees this, she's like, "Shit, the Cyclops!"
Oh no, you're right.
The what?
We forgot the Cyclops. We're near the end. There's a Cyclops, and we gotta make sure it does not hurt any of the freed slaves.
Well, it seems we need to go catch up. Unfortunately, I can't fly in this cave, but I can definitely move fast, so I guess you can continue to ride on my back until we get out of here.
Thank you.
And with that, you see him you see him like take his head from like a upward position to talk to you two. He kind of brings it back down, and then he just starts running again. This time his wings kind of like spewed, it's kind of spanned out a little more, kind of relaxed, and he's just sprinting down. As every once in a while you'll see him kind of do a little flap to maintain his balance as he's running. And he just keeps going, and after what feels like just days of traveling in the cave, it seems, it's not like actual days, but it feels like it with all of the with all the time you have to spend just riding on his back. Your butts get numb just kind of like riding. You're getting a little sore, and a little car sick from the entire ride.
A little what sick? No, I'm just
a little dragon sick.
You mean cart sick?
No, dragon. Dragon D's nuts! No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was.
Daddy.
But yeah, you spend this time kind of going down for a while. It feels like days. You're kind of sick. You feel a little like motion sick from all of the travels essentially, and on top of that, you're a little sore. And you finally make it down, and you hear a couple people start to scream, and you just hear kind of like a loud roar happening from down one of the tunnels you're taking, and like you hear kind of like a loud roar, and you can almost like see one or two people at the very end, kind of looking forward, but kind of like ducking a little bit, like ready to run back down the tunnel if needed. And then you start to see the tunnel kind of like spew out into like a kind of like cone out into a larger area. And as you start to get closer, you see a lot more people all kind of stopped and then you see like the shadow of like a large figure. As you're just kind of like, you see a large figure kind of like standing in front of the crowd, as you're all just kind of as both of you are just riding on the back, and getting a lot closer, and the dragon just goes like, "Is this the one?"
Just like, yes.
This is the one.
Okay. Hold on. And then, boom, 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 and then he starts flapping his wings. He's like, the cave is just large enough to get him a couple feet above everybody in there. Comes coasting in, just fireball blasting the Cyclops back, causing him to topple back over onto his campfire, just like pretty much leaving the rest of the group with, like Orilo and Ugg and everyone just kind of standing there in awe for a moment. And then, of course, you hear like one of the people down there go, "Well, what you doing? Run!" And that is what happened while these two were gone.